Alright, what's up guys? Today we're doing a new series where every time I play in a major bandai tournament, or any major tournament in general, I want to make a video, kind of just like to document my progress throughout the year as we head towards nationals and trying to improve as a player. Today was it's February 8th, I played in the Ultimate Cup for my PPG. I got 95th out of 250 something, I don't remember the exact number what it was. I went 4-4-1 with D-Brigade. Wasn't my best performance, but it was a fine performance. I'm okay with it to start the year. It was EX8 format, and we're gonna get to the deck list first, and then after that I will kind of go through my matchups and then just talk about how I feel about the tournament in general. All right, so starting off the deck list, we got four standard eggs, 4 Missimon. This is kind of like the D-Brigade go-to. Being able to stack the deck, being able to gain DP. So nice. Being able to select the deck and recover is so good for this deck. You should be able to... So many things want to gotcha off the top of the deck. And so the fact that you can manipulate that so easily with this egg is beautiful. So it makes the deck function, really. Getting into our Commandron line, we're on 13 level 3 Commandrons. We got 4 of the floater Commandron. Obviously, this card is so good. Being able to float into another Commandron is so useful. It means you can keep board presence even when you're getting things deleted. You can also delete this with your protection effects and have it take the brunt and be able to spawn another thing. So it means it's that you can take board damage while not actually losing board damage. It's beautiful. Up next we got the one you want to go into your stack with is the Commandron that gives protection in the heritable. But it also has a crazy good searching effect, so it kind of feels bad sometimes where sometimes you need to play it out, but sometimes you want to be able to keep it in the stack in the back, so it's a very good card with protection. Next up, we have 3 Decoy Commandron. Decoy is super useful in this format because of Purple Hybrid and Medieval Gallant, and a lot of deletion effects are running around. So being with Decoy effects, deletions away is so helpful. And then the last level 3 Commandron we run is 2 of the BT16 Commandron. It gives plus 1 KDP to every other Commandron, or every other D-Brigade trait that isn't this Digimon. The DP doesn't come up that often. Sometimes it's actually come up where things that I wanted to die didn't die because they had the plus DP from the stack. So honestly, this card isn't that good. That's why it's only at 2 copies. There honestly is a world where I go up to 4 Decoy and cut this down to 1. But right now, I think 2. I like this ratio. Getting to our level 4s, we have 4 of the High Commandron. This card is so good. Has the same protection heritable as the Commandron, the one that says when you leave the battle area other than by your effects, you can delete one of your D-Brigade traits that survive. When attacking, you reveal top 3 cards of your deck, you play S out, play cost 3 or less, so you can be able to just get wider boards off of this. It's really, really useful. You can use the Missimon to stack so that you know what you're playing off of this. It's very, very useful. But I don't think it's the best level 4 in the deck, because the best level 4 deck is probably Sealstromon for BT16. This card is nutty. The fact that you can play it out to be able to gain Rush and Unblockable is so useful. Did you all to get Rush and Unblockable so you can swing this Commandron, have it die, play out a Commandron, then for 2 go to Sealstromon and you have Rush Unblockable, and you can swing again. It also stacks your deck, which is beautiful for so many different instances, to be able to stack your deck easily and recover. This card is honestly what makes the deck as good as it is. If it didn't have the Sealstromon, I think this deck would be significantly weaker. But Sealstromon is what makes the deck even playable right now. Then our last level 4 we have is 2 of the Numemon. I love this card. I would love to have it in more copies, but it not being a D-Brigade trait really hurts. And because you kind of have to run as many Numemon as you run Satsuki, running more Numemon without running more Satsuki kind of feels like a waste. So running only 2 Numemon right now, that could go up or down in the future. But I think the 4-4 from these 2 is kind of enshrined. Moving on to level 5s, we're running 4 of the Cargo Dramon. The one that says, when you Digivolve, reveal top 3, play out, play cost 4 or less. Oftentimes you want that 4 or less to be the Sealstromon, or the Float Commandron, or the Decoy Commandron. Or even sometimes you'll want to search with this Commandron, because this search digs 5, which is crazy. So you'll dig 5 to get your Brigade Dramon that you're missing. So many times that came up where I had to play this, to play out that, to find that a Brigade Dramon was missing to go to Brigade Dramon. And then the other level 5 is something that I was against for a while, until I woke up one day and realized, oh my god, what am I doing? This card is so goddamn good. It's the Tankdramon. This card is so good. This is real top 3 cards of your deck. For each D-Brigade trait you find there, reduce your opponent's play costs by 1. So a lot of times it's 2 or 3. And you do the play cost 4 less, which is every level 4 in the game basically, with how much you're immediately reducing the cost from the other thing. So it's very, very good for popping level 4s and 3s. This thing popped so many Ukos. A disgusting amount of Ukos in this tournament. There's a little bit where I wasn't on this and I was running like less level 5s, but I think that was incorrect, and I think this is actually a very good level 5 to be running. Then, next up we are on to our level 6s. We of course are on 4 Brigadramon. This is your main boss monster of the deck. It's what makes the deck kind of work. It's when Digivolving pops up to 7 play cost with a Digimon, which is good because Tankdramon can reduce every Digimon's play cost, so you can delete a lot of things with this effect sometimes. And then gives everything blocker, so it's what gives you your defense in the deck, but also gives you your aggression because at the end of turn it plays out up to 7 play cost worth Digimon, which can either be a level 5 on board so you can threaten an ace, or like a level 4 and a level 3, or 2 level 3s, or any combination of anything. It's so good. You can also play at Tamers if you need to play at Tamers, which is usually unfortunate whenever you have to. But being able to play at level 5 so you can threaten aces is kind of what this deck does best. And our ace of choice in this format has been 3 Metal Siege Ace. Metal Siege Ace is here primarily because it's about as good as everything else is in every instance, but it's really, really good into Purple Hybrid. It's what makes this deck have a slightly winning matchup against Purple Hybrid. Metal Siege Ace de-digivolves the Velgar, and then bottom decks the Dusk, which denies the on-deletion to play at a Tamer, and denies the Dusk entirely by bottom decking it. So that means they'll have to find more Dusks. So this card can be really, really good for forcing your opponent to brick on Dusks, and in general just slowing them down because they can't get the Tamer back out. This card is the reason that matchup is even at all winnable. I think if you didn't have this card, I think that matchup would be a little worse. Probably would be losing. But right now it's a slightly winning matchup because of Metal Siege Ace. Moving on, there's no level 7s in this deck. I consider running level 7s in the past. In the past, I've run Death X. I do kind of miss it. In the past, I've run Quartz, but Quartz feels so bad when you can't scramble for it, which means you're just going to mill it 19 times out of 20. And so it's going to be a waste of a spot. So I just, instead of running more level 7s, I'm just running more level 6 aces. Because I really want to find these in my hand. Because I really want to be able to threaten aces on board. This card is so goddamn good. In the past, what I was also considering in the past was I was on Aegistramon. And Aegistramon is really, really good because you can DNA these two together to make Aegis. And then spit out the Metal Siege Ace, which is really, really powerful. And also just being able to Digivolve and bottom deck 14 play cost worth of things, which could be reduced thanks to Tankdramon, was very, very useful in practice. But I decided that I didn't want to run any level 7s because I just wanted to run more Metal Siege Aces. Moving on to Tamers, we are running 2 Satsuki. 2 Satsuki to match the 2 Neomon I'm running. Satsuki's good, but to be honest with you, there's not the space is tight in this deck. For things that aren't just like, because you have to run so many of your specific 4. Obviously, you have to run 4 of this command, run 4 of this command, run 4 high, 4 Sealustra, 4 high cargo, 4 brigade. You have so many 4s in this deck to run that there's just not as much space for cards like Satsuki that don't do a crazy amount. Same thing can be said about the 2 Shu Yulins we run. In the past, I've laid awake at night thinking about cutting these shoes, and then today the Alliance and the memory setting both came up in spades today. This card is so good. I'd probably much rather cut a Satsuki before I cut a Shu. Honestly, 2 Shu feels like enough. It feels like it comes up when I need it to come up. Doesn't feel like it clogs me. I'm a big fan of 2 Shu, and having a hidden security feels so goddamn nice. That's all the Tamers we run. There's only 2 archetypal Tamers, and we're not going to run any. We don't run any non-archetypal cards, and we don't need to. Like, the only non-archetypal Digimon we run are Metal Siege Ace. And unfortunately speaking, Numemon is just Digiplease and not D-Brigade. So this command is just D-Brigade. This is Digiplease and D-Brigade. This is just D-Brigade. Digiplease and D-Brigade. Digiplease and D-Brigade. Digiplease and D-Brigade. Just Digipolice, unfortunately. both of them, both of them, both of them, neither of them. That comes up because your protection effects say you have to delete a D-Brigade trait to survive. Numemon not being a D-Brigade trait hurts so bad sometimes. These command runs not being Digipolices doesn't hurt as bad, it just means you can't mind link to them. But this not being a D-Brigade can hurt a lot, because it also doesn't get blocker from Brigade Dramon. Moving on to our options, we run a lot of different options in this deck. We run 3 DCD Bomb. In the past, I've been on 4. I think 3 is enough. I do like 4, because it comes up in security more often when you have 4. But it can clog you up, definitely. So 3 feels like it's enough. Card is so good. It's Recursion. It's Digivolve into security. It's only a 4-cost removal card, which is pretty good. I didn't play it a super high amount, but I did play it a lot. And it came up in security so many times. I would love to run 4, but I think that space is a little too tight. Moving on, we have 2 Metropolitan Police Department, Community Safety Bureau, Cybercrime Division, Investigation Unit 11, Digimon Crime Response Team. Famously long name. It's our search card, our archetypal search card, although it's not too good at searching because it doesn't dig deep. It looks at 3 and it puts 2 of them back on top of your deck. So sometimes it isn't a super big search, and sometimes if you can see, you can... Sometimes it sucks to know that you're going to dead draw. Like, sometimes it just hurts to know you're going to dead draw. And then also, the ability to spit out anything, or not anything, any of your level 3s and 4s randomly is so damn powerful. You can spit out Seal's Drill to gain a rush and all of a sudden swing. Same thing with Numemon. You can spit out, like, a Command Dramon for defense, or this Command Dramon for defense. Or this Command Dramon to search more. Being able to spit out anything for free is so powerful. And it means you can, all of a sudden, on a snap, just return back to your game state. Next up, we're running 2 Black Scrambles. Honestly, this card didn't feel as good as I thought it was going to feel on this list. When I first saw this card revealed, and I was thinking about lists that scrambles that would fit in, I immediately thought of D-Brigade. It was not when I first revealed, when the LM set first came out. Because I actually didn't potentially do it before it came out. I was like, oh, it's going to work in D-Brigade perfectly. But the more I play with it, the more not having it a non-archetypal card like Scramble feels bad. It is nice to evolve into Brigade for 1 less. I will agree that. But at the same time, you mill this card so often, you very rarely see it. It is very good for bringing back Melty Aces, but in the Purple Hybrid matchup where that matters, they don't need Digimon on board for you to trigger this anyway. I'm definitely going to keep at least one of these in the deck, but I honestly might go down to just 1. It only came up in security, I think, once, honestly. I'm very surprised that it didn't come up in security as much as something like Metropolitan and Shu did, which are at the same ratios. Not sure why that happened, but it just did happen that way. And then lastly, our last 2 cards are 2 defense trainings. In matchups where I saw the defense trainings early on, I got a really sick board and it was very hard for my opponent to break it. And because of that, I might cut a Scramble for a defense training moving forward. Because this card is so good. The issue is that deck space is tight and it's hard to run non-archetypal cards. So it's hard to run defense trainings, but they feel so good. That's the deck list currently. Moving forward, I think the deck will be bad next format because Ruin Mode will be around because of Tau Loop. And I think anytime deck in Ruin Mode or Medieval Gallant are popular, this deck is going to suffer because it loses to those generic wide board removal cards. However, next format we do get to replace Melcedra Ace with Darktra Ace, which is an archetypal ace, which would be very nice to have another archetypal level 6. But I'm excited to see where that goes. This is the list currently, and yeah, we'll get to my matchups in a second. My matchups for the tournament. So we went 4-4-1. We started off with a win against Justimon. Justimon was a funny deck. I did lose a game in that set, but I don't think I was ever too worried that set. Very funny deck, but it's not full power yet, so I didn't expect to lose to it. Round 2, we played against our first purple hybrid of the day. I was able to win 2-1. Again, you get the Melseeger Ace down, you get as many level 5s on board as you can, because if you have 2 level 5s on board, they have to dusk twice. And so it's hard for them to be able to dusk twice to remove them, to be able to prevent you from acing them. So sometimes the players will just have to take the gamble that you don't have the ace in hand, which hopefully you do. Round 3, I played against Momin Khan on Purple Hybrid. That one I lost because Momin Khan was the person who got second at NA Nationals this year. He's a very good player. I did not expect to beat him, so I did lose to him, unfortunately. Round 4, I played against a Fenrir Lugumon. His deck did not like him very much. He did brick a bit in Game 3. In Game 1, I won, I think I won Game 1. I kind of got a really big board, and even I ended up actually clearing his Takamikizuchi stack. And then Game 2, he ended up hitting a DC bomb in security with Takamikizuchi. And then that de-digivolved him down to just Fenrir Lugumon, which passed the turn. And because I only had 2 memory to work with, I couldn't do anything. So I ended up losing in Game 2. And then Game 3, he bricked extremely hard. Like, it wasn't even close. Unfortunately for him. Game 5, so at this point I'm 3-1. Game 5, I play against a Vault. It was lovely to play against him again. He was a purple hybrid. I was able to beat him. The VOD is up on his channel if you want to go watch it. I was able to beat him. It was a close match. At that point, I played against 3 purple hybrids, and I was 4-1. Then I went against Onion on 7 Great Demon Lords. He was the person who won NA Nats, so somehow in this tournament I played against the second and first place players from NA Nats. He whooped my ass. Wasn't even a close match. 7 Great Demon Lords is a very hard matchup for this deck because you have so many low DP Digimon you're spreading out. Rune Mode just kills all of them, and you can't do anything about it. Any deck that runs Rune Mode counts at more than 1 is a very, very rough matchup. Even Rune Mode count at 1 is a hard matchup, but if Rune Mode counts at more than 1, it's a very difficult matchup to win. So I ended up getting my ass kicked. Then I put against an Imperial Dramon and tied. Imperial is another deck matchup. Honestly, I don't think this deck can beat Imperial physically. I'm not even gonna pretend. I think Imperial has to brick extremely hard for you to win, because you build a big board, which is what your deck is good at doing, and they stun all of it, and you can't do shit. And then you clear their board, which your deck is good at doing, and then they build up a second board, and then they clear all your shit. And they just are so much better at everything that you want to do, and at stunning your entire board so you can't do shit, that I honestly don't know how this deck beats Imperial. Maybe there's a route that I just don't know, and maybe I need to play the deck more, but I don't see this deck ever beating Imperial. So you see, that's just a bad matchup you have to dodge. I was able to tie them because we played such drawn-out games, Game 1 and 2, where we were going so deep, where he almost decked out on Imperial. Like, if he didn't win that turn, I would have been able to just pass back, because he would have been decked out, basically. So I was able to get into a tie. Then I played against my 4th purple hybrid. I bricked pretty seriously in this set, and also we had a very unorthodox purple hybrid list that ran Gallant Mon. Like, not just Medieval Gallant, but also the BT13 Gallant, and because of that and me bricking, I think he was able to win. We kind of went to time, and in theory we tied, but he had game on board clearly, so I just gave him the win. And then round 9, I played against a Medieval Gallant, a Leopard deck, and again, Medieval Gallant is really hard for you to answer because all your removal is the Digivolve based. And so when they just play that Medieval Gallant, that thing's not going anywhere. This deck doesn't currently have anything to deal with that. It will next set when we get Dark Dra Ace. Dark Dra Ace will be able to delete the thing's lowest play cost, so if it's the only thing on board, you can pop it with Dark Dra Ace. But as of right now, there's not really an answer for Medieval Gallant with this deck, which is really unfortunate because it's such a popular card. I ended up finishing the day 4-4-1 Wasn't a great performance, but it was enough to give me 95th, which is I guess is a fine performance. I think I'm just being a little hard on myself. This is a good start to the year for me. Technically speaking, I started the year at Nats, but we're counting this last year. I'm hoping that in the future I can improve more. Looking towards next format, Boosters at 2.5 format, which is BT20. I don't know what I'm going to play. As of right now, it looks that I'm just going to probably not play this deck because Tau Loop will be a thing. I'll probably just play Machine Dramon while I wait for BT21, which is what I really care about. But I might just play Machine Dramon. I might play. I'm definitely going to be able to build a Vizimon at least as a fun deck. I've seen a version of this list in the past that had Invizimon. There was like Invizimon D-Brigade into Blitz Greymon into Ragnarlord. So I really want to try that out and see if it's a real thing. It's probably not, but I really want to see it. I will definitely consider trying it, probably at like locals and not actual tournaments, but I do like D-Brigade. It is one of my favorite decks of all time. It is the deck it has Satsuki in it, and if you know anything about my relationship with Numemon and D-Brigade, I love Satsuki. She's my favorite tamer, pretty much, aside from Analog Man. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to attend regionals, maybe some in-person regionals this year, if the money's there. Unfortunately, I'm a college student, so it's a little hard for me to find the money to travel crazy often. The time is I'm very available for time-wise. It's purely a money thing. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, whenever that comes out. Peace.